What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar, when Jerome Powell is going to be giving his speech, what's happening with the whole Israel and Iran situation, how this is affecting the market moving forward. Before I begin the doubles information, before I break down what's happening on the charts, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends very soon in just 2 weeks exactly. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, we've lost this critical support at this 160 area. This is actually kind of significant because Tesla's been holding above this support for many, many months. And now that we lost this, there's going to be a higher probability of Tesla seeing more downside, in my opinion. So I'm going to break down some important levels on Tesla in just a couple of minutes, talk about what the chart is showing on the daily and other factors like that, and how this could end up affecting Tesla as well. The first thing you should know is that with this whole Israel and Iran situation, there's a lot of history that has been going on. Let me just say that so far, Israel is vowing to retaliate against Iran for the weekend attacks that happened when they sent over 300 ballistic and cruise missiles their way, not to mention a lot of drone attacks. So, with all of that happening, it's negative news so far. This is still a very, very tense situation. It has not eased, and seeing Israel's war cabinet, not to mention their Minister of Defense all coming out and saying that they want to continue to do their attacks against Iran. That's not the best of news. Now they're doing this in response to Iran, and Iran, it just goes back and forth and back and forth for quite some time. So I just wanted to say the situation has not eased. It's still very tense, and this is not the best of news for the markets. That's part of why the markets are still a little bit weak this morning. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, by the way. We had some housing data that came out. Everything was very close to expectations, except building permits a little bit lower than that. Now we're going to be looking right here as we have Jefferson giving a speech very, very soon from the Fed. Then, a little bit before the market opens, we have industrial and manufacturing production numbers coming out. Could cause some volatility. Then we have bill auction data coming out, followed by more, Fed speakers. And we have Jerome Powell giving a speech at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be very, very important especially once Powell starts his speech. He's going to be speaking with the Bank of Canada in a very, very important discussion. So watch for volatility at all these times. I would say that from 11:30 a.m. and then 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, expect some high volatility. Powell may say some crazy things. On top of all of this, I just wanted to call out that we had some earnings that came out. We had Bank of America and Morgan Stanley. So for Bank of America, they did relatively well, topping estimates with better than expected interest income. They beat on EPS and revenue from what I'm looking at right here. And despite the fact that their profit fell 18%, other things were looking pretty good for them, which is still why their guidance was not too bad. You can see right here, their overall revenue jumped 35% to 1.57 billion. They beat estimations, and their overall expectations also are somewhat better than expected, despite the fact that their fixed income fell. So some good guidance came out, good overall setups, and we're looking at some very, very nice looking earnings from them. Same thing with Morgan Stanley. They beat on EPS, beat on revenue, beat on everything throughout there. Their first quarter profit rose 16%, and guidance was not bad whatsoever from them, at least based off what we're seeing here. So it's part of why they're doing so well. So as far as Tesla goes, the Cybertruck owners are saying that deliveries are halted over at the bad acceleration pad. Some are saying that a slippery pad cover is to blame, and there are others out there that say that some improvements have to be made to it. It's not the end of the world. I just think that there are some minor adjustments that continually have to be made to the Cybertruck because once again, it's a new in production. There's still going to be a lot of improvements to be made. There are people posting on TikTok that there's some issues with them when it comes to its the accelerator and other things like that. So that's some very important news. Tesla's going to once again get on with that. With the halt coming to the Cybertruck reduction, this is a little bit negative for Tesla because there are a lot of people out there who are speaking negatively about it. The media is kind of bashing Tesla for this to try to improve this issue. So that's causing some selling pressure for Tesla. Not to mention the fact that Tesla's laid off more than 10% of its staff globally as the sales have fallen. Musk said this in the latest email and still making a lot of headlines to this. It's over 14,000 employees. So when you look at Tesla on the daily time frame, We've lost this critical support. The next support for Tesla is going to be critical is going to be right here at this is like 152 or something. If we lose this, we're going to come all the way down to 146 to fill the gap. And the chart's bearish on the daily chart. You guys can see it's been downtrending. So looks to me like Tesla might end up filling that gap. So from the way I see things, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. Things are not looking that great for Tesla. We're on a very, very big downtrend right over here. We have resistance at 160 and 162.5, and we have support at 157 zero point 0.5. If we lose this, look for 155, 152. We have minor support 150, but I think 152 is going to be critical, followed by 146. Overall, the chart's looking a bit more bearish, is falling quite a bit. Going to be looking for a retest of 160 or so to 162 before a continuation lower, and we could be looking for 155, if not 152, very soon. The chart's looking a bit more bearish with all the layoff news coming out and more negative news about it. SPY was trying to rebound a bit, but it's still kind of struggling. Could try to touch 507, get very close to it before it continues to fall. If we lose 503, expect SPY to start dipping all the way down to 500, if not 497. 503 is going to be critical support on SPY, but if we lose this, look for more downside. I do think it's going to pop and then drop lower. There's still a risk of more downside given how intense the situation still is involving Iran and Israel. We're also seeing bonds going up, which is playing a big significant role. So it's many different factors combined. We have the QQQ testing 432, could go a little higher towards about 433.5 to 434 before it continues lower. I think that it could easily fall all the way down to 427.25 and eventually 425. So it kind of popped a little bit and it's going to likely make its way all the way down towards these lower levels. So I see more potential downside coming towards the QQQ for that reason. So watch for that very carefully. We're going to look for a little rebound first. I might just try to retest 434, the 20 EMA, shuffle a bit before it continues lower. So just be careful. I still find that to be very probable. Nvidia is also bearish in my opinion. It's barely testing the 20 EMA. Could be testing around 870 to 870, basically 875, this range right over here. It could go a little bit higher before it continues lower. I still see a risk of this dropping all the way down, excuse me, to about 840 or so. Could pop a bit first and continue lower, so watch for that very carefully. I still see a risk of that. If anything, and then on Apple, I'm seeing the same thing. It's going to likely retest 173, and we'll see how it reacts to this 173 to 174 area. Might tag this and then eventually make its way back down lower. I do see it potentially coming down to about 170, so it might pop a bit first and then eventually drop. And then once again for Tesla, the chart's looking kind of bearish. We've lost 160, which is a bad sign. We've held 160 many, many times, and this time we've broken this key support. So it could try to rebound a bit, but I do see a risk of this dropping lower. I still think the chart's looking relatively weak as a result of that. Just for a few more, we have Amazon. Amazon's doing the same thing, testing its 20 EMA at 184. It could go a little higher, get close to 185 or so before it continues lower. There is a risk of it coming all the way down to about the low 180s. So look for a little pop and drop like move. Meta is barely at about 500, kind of shuffling right now. We have Jerome Powell giving a speech, so we'll see what he causes, but look for 503, followed by rejection. This is looking a bit more bearish, so just be careful right now. And I just want to give you guys a warning about all of these stocks. So Tesla's looking kind of weak right now. In order for us to turn back to bullish, we need to see this thing try to reclaim like around 165 and close above that. We're pretty far from that. I could see it retest 160 or so, go a little higher before it continues lower. But the overall trend on Tesla is very weak, and I'm seeing a lot of weakness in the chart. So we'll see how things go. Don't forget that later on today we have more bill auctions coming out, not to mention Jerome Powell giving a speech at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be ready, do what you have to do, guys, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening, guys. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in just a few hours. Thanks again, and peace out.